That's all right, we'll take that.
Okay, that's what so that was.
That triggered it, oh yeah.
Right, good evening, everybody. Like to welcome everybody here, members of the public as well. Tonight, town councillors and county councillors stand down from their duties tonight. But I hope they can answer any questions that we might get as well.
No, we can't stand down and that's answer questions, sorry.
And
Like you was elected.
where's the court of conduct? Please, refrain from that, please. Right, I like to tell everybody there's a code of conduct and we've all got to stand by that. No matter who you are. I just hope you respect that. Tonight, we've got the minutes of the 2024 town meeting. And we all agree that the minutes were correct. Done.
Was I here?
Minutes are moving out.
Was I? All right, I agree the minutes.
And now could I have questions from the members of the public, please?
No questions, Paul?
No
I
questions.
have no questions at this time.
No questions, right, thank you very much. Well, we're down to the summing up of the mayor. A few things written down.
Just what if you can do that, but I think we should wait perhaps 20 minutes just in case members of the public are delayed, for coming, and then just to give them a chance if the bus has been late or something like.
Does anybody agree with that? We'll wait 20 minutes in case any of the members of the public are late. Yeah, thank you.
Still say just.
Well, that's what I was going to do, Melvin. Right. As a mayor, I'm apolitical. While I may have a political background as a councillor, the role of mayor is civic and represents all sections of the community. Avoid getting embroiled in controversial political debates. We want to empower residents and foster community cohesion. Give residents a stronger voice, involve residents in decision-making processes that affect their lives. This can include devolving power for certain local decisions to community groups. Identify and support community connectors. Recognise and work with individuals and groups who are already naturally bringing people together in the town. Create opportunities for connection. Organise events and initiatives that encourage people to gather, share experience and build a sense of belonging. Celebrate them successes. Acknowledge and promote the achievements of individuals, groups and the town as a whole. Focus on strengths, not just problems, and identify and leverage existing community assets and positive initiatives. Address social challenges, work to strengthen community cohesion to tackle issues like antisocial behaviour, fear of crime and health inequalities, which are significant in life. Drink a water and dry. Revitalise the town centre, support ongoing regeneration efforts, including new cultural, educational, leisure and residential projects around a revitalised marketplace. Improve the town's aesthetics to attract visitors and boost footfall. People will keep coming back time and time again if the place looks good and kept in clean. Improve connectivity and transport. Advocate for support improvements to walking, cycling and public transport networks, including the new Northumberland line, to make it easier for people to get around the town and beyond. I would have liked the Northumberland line to have made it into the centre of Blythe if I had my way. But I didn't get my way. Address housing needs, support the delivery of new, high quality and affordable homes, including a fast turnaround, repurposing of rundown and empty properties. There's far too many empty at the moment, and County Council reckons it's down to wet trades and electricians, but we'll see. Address key challenges specific to Blythe, economic deprivation and unemployment. Work on initiatives that directly tackle high economic deprivation and unemployment rates, particularly among youth and vulnerable groups. Crime and antisocial behaviour. Collaborate with local businesses and the police to extend CCTV provision, establish partnerships and implement strategies to reduce crime and antisocial behaviour which impact on residents' sense and safety and pride. Engage with local businesses, understand their needs and foster an environment that supports their growth and success. Support local organisations, work closely with the voluntary and community sector, recognising their vital role in the town's well-being. Manage the role effectively. Be aware that the mayoral role can be physically and mentally demanding. Balance civic duties with strategic leadership. That's about that.
Can I just ask a question there? Did you do that summary yourself?
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying, what it's about is more strategic around the county rather than the town. Because the town is just a small community council. And what we deliver is events, the environment. So what you've read out there is mainly to do with county.
But it's not all to do with county. What we need to do is start listening to the residents.
Well, yes, I totally agree
And
with
then
that.
pass the information up over, and pass the information up to the town clerk. No. Thank you. Yes, Dan.
Check, the comment you made about the Northumberland line running through the town centre, was that a joke?
No, I would have liked to have seen it come into the town centre, you know, but that would have cost a whole lot of money.
Well, just curious, with the line not running through the town centre, did you mean as in build brand new track to run through the town centre?
Well, I was sort of looking at like a tram type of, you know,
I
thing.
see.
I mean, I remember way back when we had the wagon wheel lines. Used to run past my back garden actually, on Plessy Road.
Right.
But a lot of people with gardens have started buying their land, you know, and extending their gardens, so we lost that in the past.
No, it's just when you said it, you did a chuckle afterwards, and I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not.
Well, you know.
Okay.
Sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. Can't wish for everything,
Sure, exactly.
right?
You've answered the question. I was
Thank
going to say, how you propose that it would come into the town centre.
Yeah,
Because
no,
obviously, you know, with the house has been built and, you know, a lot of the land has been bought, but it's
Right,
like to be, you know, to, you know, create jobs for the region, so,
yeah, that's right. Thank you.
which is good.
Anybody else?
Just to bring people's attention that, when I was, conducting when I was taking the chair for the meeting the other night for environment, I omitted to say that the next meeting was the 28th of September. And it's just to make a point of, bringing that up here now.
All right, okay. The next meeting we have here, I think, is the 10th of June. Is that right? The next live town council meeting?
It's the 12th of June, 11th of June,
11th,
So we're on to,
10th.
yeah, we're on Tuesday.
10th, yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Any more questions?
We asked, the objective of the town council is still to support community events, isn't it, Chair?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is, yes.
Mhm.
I went to Ridley Park yesterday for some feedback from the kids' fun fair. It was really good. So I got a phone call from one resident saying they couldn't afford their children to go on many of the rides because they didn't have the money to do it. So it was disappointing for some of the children, but also disappointing for adults as well that couldn't actually do it. Some of the rides were at £4 and £3. Some of them were just like for a 10-minute bounce around on a bouncy castle, you know. So I had words with the organiser. Actually, they're based at Stakeford in Brandon, so they haven't got far to go. But it was a marvellous event. Lots of people there. A lot of positives. People from North Tyneside, they were, you know, attending it. Not attend every year. So a really good event.
And I just comment on that one. It wasn't organised by town council.
Yes, I know it wasn't.
It was organised by Carnival Rides.
Oh.
That's who organised it.
Yes, in Ridley Park's county council land.
Yes, that's-
Yes, I know that. Yes, thank you. Anybody else? No?
Can I just share just one thing? I've taken care of the cost of living and the cost of rides for families. Up in the Isabella, we are now preparing a free family fun day. So we will be opening it out to all residents as long as they leave their card at home. We've hired 4 carnival rides and the families will have free rides on there. So it takes the pressure off parents at the beginning of the school holidays. So we have got that coming up.
That's excellent news.
That's through the Interacting Motor Kids in the Isabella Heath Volunteers Group.
That's excellent news, that, yes. Where will you be advertising for the event?
It'll be on social media and posters.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Good news, thank you.
Say to say that, particularly for the new members, we've got our own, you know, Facebook page, which we've got our events on, but we've got key community events like that, and Northumberland County Council, you know, posts, we pick them up and share them. So that'll be shared on our Facebook, as, you know, Aileen will probably focus to us anyway, so we'll get on straight away.
Brilliant. Yeah. Anybody?
Can I just ask exactly where you're getting your funding from?
The young people who are members of Motor Kids and Interact actually do fundraise,
Right,
and they have to raise quite a considerable amount, and then got a donation to top it off from Rotary,
what's, you know,
Live Rotary.
it's like you're aware that I'm there's a better
Yeah.
councillor, and I'm just wondering if you'd benefit by me providing for them as well from some of the
We could tap into you for another event.
membership good. Need at all.
Yeah, I can come up and have a visit as well, and have a walk around.
I think there's a better centre, I spoke to Leslie.
Yes, where it's across the road, the football
Yeah,
field.
right, okay. But just, as you're probably aware, as new members, we're getting so much to fall on top of us. I can only do so much, so I haven't had time to get around. If there's a particular time when it's convenient for me to call in and see.
And I can arrange time around you.
Yeah.
I'm there every Wednesday and Saturday.
Is that around about 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'm away on holiday next week, unfortunately, but the week after, I get appointed to come along on the Wednesday at 12 o'clock.
Thank you very much for that. Anybody else got anything?
But, any questions?
We wait for any public coming in?
3 minutes left.
There's usually still nothing. There's usually is.
You know, last year was an exception when we had the town
Presentation.
meeting because of the, you know, the key road just being previously knocked down. The Isabella Skate Park, you know, 1 or 2 people disagreed with the council's decision to put that there. So a lot of people turned up. Generally, there's not a great deal turn up, but we did ask on the agenda, you know, if people were going to come, to please let us know, because seats may be, you know, at a premium type of thing. We only had 2 people actually notify us officially through the email that they were coming. One of them gave their apologies just before 6 o'clock, and obviously we've got the 2 ladies here, so nobody else has kind of informed us that they're going to come along. So I think it's a pretty safe bet, you know, if you want to close it in time. You know, I've got that safeguard of saying let us know.
Right. Seeing as there's no more questions, any questions at all?
I was just wondering, just curious, has any members from the floor brought forward any plans for the next 4 years as to how they want to, you know, see the town run in the council? So that you can share it with members?
Well, me personally, I think the town clerk and you know, deputy clerk are doing a really good job. Staffing's actually down, but they're still pushing on and they're really doing well. That there is, you know, a place for somebody else to come into the job to help them through all this.
I think my question was more broader about the entire town itself, like if any members had any ideas about bringing forward potential changes as to how the town operates or anything like that at all?
As far as
Any members?
well, has anybody? Yes.
At the moment, we've all got plans in our individual heads, but we haven't pulled them together yet purely because the meetings haven't come up. We've only had one environmental meeting since we took the positions on. So we're now getting to grips with the finances of the town council to be able to understand what it's already committed to before we can move forward and throw everything new in a rush. But as soon as we do have those plans, and of course you'll be at the meetings, we can all discuss it, you know, together. But we're quite open once we've decided, and as a joint effort, we're willing to just put stuff out as soon as and when we've gotten together. But it's not good any one individual putting one idea forward when it's never been discussed.
It was more like a broad aspect, Chair, but that's fine.
Okay, do you have any plans and envisage where the town's going to go?
Very happy the way it's been run for the last 4 years, Chair.
Yeah.
But obviously, with all the new members, I was always curious to see if there were any broader envisionments coming forward. But if there's none so far, then that's fine. I'll just wait and see.
Yes, well, as new members, we've got a lot to go over, and we will get over it and see what's happening. And you know, all we want is a better town for everybody.
So if there's nothing now, that means I can go back to people who contact me and just inform them as to what I've heard so far.
Yeah, there was brochures put out the past couple of years, which mentioned the town and where things were going to go in the future.
What was the brochure?
I don't quite remember the name of the brochure.
Was this
The newsletters.
Is it the town council?
the town council news?
The newsletters, yeah.
Yeah, that was really the plans that were included within the newsletter about the regeneration of the town. That was basically lifted from what the county council were doing. Certainly, you know, the element of the newsletter as far as the town went was for, you know, updates on events, on community groups, on community grants that, you know, the councillors made decisions on at the community funding and things like that. But the real energising Blythe, you know, what's happening at Catapult, you know, the 2 energy centres, the Kiro, they were really articles that were submitted by the county council.
All right. Please.
Yeah, just to recap on what you were saying before, Dan, about, you know, going back to your constituents, you know, if they're asking questions. I don't know what feedback you've been getting, but I keep getting a lot of feedback and a lot of emails about rubbish, about antisocial behaviour, and these bikes that are running through the towns, the bikes that are running up and down the cuts that are being made what, like the bridle paths where they've been putting hardcore down and the bikes can do 60 mph down the back of those cuts. So really, a lot of the feedback from the people are not so much how do we build and progress, even though we would all love to see that. It's can we sort out these fundamental issues first? And I think this is going to be one of our starting points, our plans, what we're discussing. Let's try and resolve the rubbish, because there is an increase of rats in the town, and we are aware of that. We see them in our streets. We see them. I saw one just down the back of the vets. Well, that was more than one. I was walking the dog, and the dog flew, and they all ran up from underneath a crate. And yeah, you're going to get. We live on the riverside, but we have to come up with a clear plan on how to stop that from escalating and moving further into the towns, into the other areas.
Can you look at this?
Can I just-
Clerk wasn't one word.
I was just going to say on some of those issues, we'll pick up on the antisocial behaviour on the bikes. The council do have regular meetings with the police, and they're
Yeah.
generally about an hour and a half before a regular full council starts. So the full council in July, you'll find it about 4:30, there'll be a session with the police where the councillors, they're all invited along. It's a liaison meeting. You can all put your issues forward if they haven't noted them already, because you can put forward issues even now to the police about antisocial activity. And they come to the meeting and they formalise, what they're doing. They're open with it. The issue on bikes, they've had various drives, not any intended pun against that. On antisocial behaviour, the previous council administration agreed in principle to support an initiative that's been run by the county council and various groups to tackle, it's Operation Shield they call it, to tackle antisocial behaviour. It's a lot of it's data driven. So they work with the police, they work with the community, businesses, shops to see where the problems are, and they do various things to try to tackle it and reduce it. And I think when they did it in Cramlington a few years ago, I can't remember the exact figures, Elaine might come in, but I think they reduced the antisocial behaviour by about 60% in the first year. I think it was in that order. And it's not a heavy-handed approach. The police acknowledge that if you turn up in a uniform to somebody's front door and knock on it about that teenager, you get very little, you're starting off on the back foot. Whereas this involves, some community support people, specialists from the county council, from their environmental protection unit, or whatever they call it. And they take another approach. They might have a van, they might have playstations in there, and they encourage discussion. And, they try to say, well, there's better ways of spending your time and what you're doing. So it's a different approach to it, and it's had phenomenal success. Ashington are on it at the moment, and they've actually started it in Blythe as well. They've just started in the 6th of May, so they've just started it. So hopefully the results will start to come through. But we'll get an update, if not before, just in time for the July meeting. But we'll fully support all of those things, and we'll work where we can. We had big problems at the Isabella a few years ago on the heap. We'll put certain cameras there, but sometimes our cameras are visible. So people, when you see a CCTV camera, if you're of that persuasion, you avoid it, or you put hoods on. But you can get nature-related cameras, like you stick in trees, which are normally, they watch the birds and the foxes and things like that. Sometimes the police will put them in, and that'll pick up, the antisocial behaviour culprits as well. So there's a lot of work going on, which you'll, pick up as the weeks go by. But there's certainly been time and money invested in some of these initiatives, yeah.
Right.
But it's a good point.
I was just going to touch base on what is, conversation. I mean, it was myself and the two former councillors, we worked together to get them cameras on the Isabella heap. That's reduced massive amount of antisocial behaviour. Also give residents from Martin Tulip, he was a local businessman, who provided fire extinguishers for the local community who was dealing with them, because, if it's up your back fence, you want to act fast. With that antisocial behaviour, the motorbikes I've been, for the past 4 years, I've been dealing with this with the police. You know, it's something they just say you can't, they haven't got the facilities to do what they do in London. They can't chase them. They can't do the little nudge because they just haven't got the facilities. It's something that Northumberland County Council haven't got. What they rely on, solely on, is intelligence. And it's getting intelligence where people have the bikes, where they're storing them. Now, if they get seen, people can, you know, report, and that's what they rely on, intel. Something, you know, I was massively part of my job in the British Army. They can then, you know, act on that intel and then do, you know, I'm not going to say raids, but they can knock, look, we've got intelligence that you've got, you know, these bikes here. They go take the bikes, take them away. Yes, they do just buy bikes again, but it's taking them off the street and it takes them longer to do it. And it's physically, Northumberland police do not have the physical capability of doing it. And they've got to solely rely on intel. And it's something that's, it's an ongoing issue. It's not going to go away overnight, and it's just going to rely on residents and councillors sending in the information, jumping online, filling out a little form. If they've got pictures, you know, send them in. I've done it myself, you know, and you know, I've informed residents that have to do it as well. It's, you know, it's something. It's just not going to go away overnight. I understand residents are upset. You know what I mean? I have it outside my house, especially now with these electric bikes and scooters. You know, it's just technology's evolving, and it's, you know, we've just got to be vigilant and just pass on to the residents that you have to give the intel to the police. Without that intel, they can't do the job.
I do, probably.
I do want to come in before because
Apologies, Carl.
it was
No, I'm just following some.
Denise was on about like how we're going to do with litter and stuff like that. We have been working with the county council on the cameras being put up where most of the fly tip and that is. They've also got this warning sign saying this is a what is it? This is a crime scene, so they put the crime scenes around them. Through the cameras, there's been a lot of people have been fined because of the what's been going on, but it's been going on for years. We're trying new ways to develop things to try and target the fly tipping and things like that, because you'll find the dog poo and fly tipping is mainly the biggest part of where we live, and that's the problem. But it's identifying this sort of thing. We do get animal control going around, but you need to tell them where it's going on and what times of the day. Try and give them as much information as you can, and they'll come out. The enforcement will come out early in the morning to start and try and track them down. And there has been a number of fines through that, but the only thing that they're not doing is publicising. So they need to publicise more what they do. I mean, in my ward, I've done like proper clean-up weeks and everything. So we've worked really hard on it. We've done a lot of work around. We start off the Bacon Buddy Day, and then all the people that's with the partners. We just get them all out there and start delivering, and it works really, really well. I mean, I've had skips in the areas and everything in the Croft Ward. It's unbelievable that the tonnage of the fly tipping had dropped enormously, but this is because we've got the cameras up now, and we still go around doing the little picks. We still do what we should be doing, really. So it is things that we have been doing. And it's always going to be a thing about the fly tipping, dog poo. It's always going, because it's nationally, and that's the problem. Apart from the A-bikes and that, they put a leaflet out there about the A-bikes, A-scooters, sorry, that they're illegal. You can only use them on private land. Now, the police are trying to target that at the moment. The place they're working at the minute is in Newsom. They're working with the operation in Newsom, and I think there's lots going on, and it just seems as if I'm sorry to say, but your mother would tell you what it was like, because she was the head one in North Farm. She was really good at what she did, you know, so we're trying to work with resident groups all the way around to deal with things. That's what we're trying to do, so it's not that we haven't been doing anything, we've been doing it. But if somebody can come up with a really good
No, I
idea, it
know
would be
you've been
great.
trying, I know, and I don't think it's an easy task.
You had your hand up
Do you
before.
wanna go first?
You were before, so.
Well, I was just gonna come back to Brian about the bikes. And I understand, you know, I've had that feedback from the police myself. I spoke to them before I became a councillor about the bikes and they gave me the same advice that you've just said, you know, about taking pictures, sending them as much as they can, because there's always going to be something identifiable on the bikes. But maybe as town council, or it might even need to go to county, we can at least eradicate it in the areas that are so obvious, in the sense that let's just take the bridle path from the Bella Hill going all the way down, you know, there's a cut through Newsham Farm, and because they widened that path when the new houses at the Crofton estate had been built, and when they widened the path they put hardcore down. Before it was a mud track with brambles and everything, and because they've widened it, one resident has reported to me that at 2 o'clock in the night, they're starting at the top of that cut and they're racing as fast as they can because it's such a long stretch at 60 miles an hour. And they've said that a number of them have been putting complaints in, they've put reports into the police, and they put reports in to county council. So I asked them to send me, they've got footage. So I asked them to send me the footage. He hasn't sent me the footage yet, so I'm about to go back and knock on his door and ask for that. But maybe it's not just a case of saying, well, it is the responsibility of the police. Maybe we should look at putting chicanes every so many down that cut, because then they haven't got the long stretch. Yeah, you might still get the odd ones coming through, but they're soon going to get sick of not having this long, open, hardcore stretch to race on. It's not going to be fun anymore, is it?
Caitlin had her hand up just
Yeah.
before this.
I agree with that. I think that's the thing. It's the same with roads. Anywhere where there's a long patch without anything, they're just taking it. Even on the way to this meeting, there was 3 kids on electric scooters, and they weren't even just on the pavement, they were on the road, and one was on the road coming towards us, 2 were on the pavement, and then as I passed, it literally went through the traffic into the road. Now, yes, we can report that to the police, but they're not going to see anything. They're not going to be able to do anything about that because they were there and then they were gone. You know, but they must have been what? They weren't even maybe 13. They're kids, and maybe there is something we can. I know it is a police problem, but maybe there's something we can do as a kind of campaign to parents,
Yeah.
saying these are your kids. Now, if one of them had been hit by a car, those same parents would have been up in arms saying that car's done something to my child. Actually, no, your child was in the road when they're not supposed to be, and could have changed someone else's life completely as well as their own. And it's maybe making awareness to the parents, and not because the kids don't care. Parents will, well, some will care, otherwise, obviously some will be buying the bikes in the first place, but they don't know where they're going out with them. But I would say on that, there have obviously been a lot of campaigns with the police for it, and it's just that we do need to do more. On the CCTV, I always think we can have more CCTV, but I did want to ask this one. Someone commented about this in the South Beach park, about recording going off about 4:30 in the morning saying you are being recorded by CCTV, this park is closed. Is that something we have?
We'll have a sign which says that there may be CCTV in operation. Because you've got to cover the fact that all CCTV cameras are mobile, if you like, because if you can attach it to a lamppost, you can take them off a lamppost. So to cover ourselves, we'll have play areas with say CCTV maybe in place. The recording, and the police use one of the laptops over there. It's stored on the hard drive, but we can access it. Yeah, well, authorised officers can access it for crime prevention purposes. So it's always recording, but it'll only record on the sides of the disc inside. So you can probably get about a month, 6 weeks of recording before it'll start to overwrite itself from the latest. So it always records, but it's only ever looked at if, for example, the police wish to do so.
No, I'm aware of that, but obviously it records and we can give it to them. What someone said is they've heard a recording, like an audible CCTV voice coming out saying this park is closed, you're being monitored by CCTV. But I didn't think our CCTV cameras
No,
did that. So Elaine, obviously,
Our SIA licensed employee who looks after the CCTV is aware of this, as they'd seen it themselves on social media.
yeah.
And is looking into it with the CCTV company, because apparently it can happen.
So I think everyone got a bit
CCTV, yeah.
confused by it.
Yeah.
It's great if it happens
Yeah.
because hopefully it can stop people being in it when they're not supposed to be in it. But I think everyone just kind of got a little bit freaked out when they heard it.
He's looking into it.
Scary.
Yeah.
Aileen, you had your hand up before, is that the same?
Just, in answer to your question about the hot pour around the Vella, that was put down by NCC.
Right.
We supported it because we wanted to open the Vella more to the public. We are aware about motorbikes and quad bikes at the minute,
Yes,
and electric bikes and electric scooters are a nightmare. All we can do is keep phoning it in, take photographs. The kids now just wave at you when you take a photograph. As we're putting more chicane type things up, council have to be careful that don't block it off to people who got mobility issues. Because in the past, other councils have been sued because the people on mobile scooters weren't able to get through. So they've got to take all that into consideration as well, because we looked at all of this when they first put that plan down. I do appreciate that it's frustrating for residents for living at the back end. So we're constantly reporting or monitoring what comes on site. And we ask people again to do photographs, report it in constantly. We try and encourage them to phone in. Because if it's only one person doing it, the police don't have the split branches, have all that intel. So we are aware, because we go up on the top as well,
Mhm.
but we've got bigger issues than a motorbike
Thank you.
at the moment. But with the chicanes, that's one of the issues that we could come across.
Thank you very much.
Can I just answer that very quickly?
David Johnson had his hand up before there. So that issues in his
With the
area.
issue that Caitlin brought up just a couple of minutes ago, kids on scooters, electric scooters, and also bikes, which are just like racing along the road at about 15 mile an hour, footpaths. I'm just wondering, there's a lot of children, so the parents know these kids have got these things. In the last councils, has there been any approach? And I would imagine this would be through county council, not through us, with education authorities to try and like drum home safety to the children, where there should be there should be like an educational program on their personal, on how much danger they're putting them and other people into. Is there a program set up for them? I think it should be something that's done at least once a year.
Right, and his hand up as
I
well.
just think it was about that issue there, just about, the police are well aware, they've got the leaflets, they took it to schools. They've tried educating them in school. They've also told them about the legalities, that they can't, ride these scooters on the streets. They've got to go on private land, otherwise they've got to have them insured and taxed. So they are doing a lot towards this. So, you know, there is something going on.
You know, we haven't actually spoken to police at the moment, have we? With this particular
Well, that'll happen at the next meeting. won't it?
Daniel, Daniel Brian, you had your hand up before.
What I was gonna say is that stretch of path you're talking about, I was gonna say, is it being maintained at the moment by the new build? Because it's being put
No, it's not
shingles,
Persimmon,
sorry,
it's not Persimmon Council, it's a
yeah,
council.
but I know have they adopted it yet or not, or is it?
No, it's not.
It's NCC, the footpath that goes from Towntail Drive and all the way to Newsom Farm and then.
No, I was on about behind Newsom Farm to Persimmons, that's stretch of path, which is
The
shingles.
Back the dirt track.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Goes straight up
Yeah,
to the railway
Because I
line.
thought it was Persimmons has put the shingles down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's under, it's under,
So far up is,
Yeah.
when you get further up, you'll notice it's all overgrown.
Yeah.
I think that's still NCC.
so part of that's gonna be, you know, NCC can't do anything with that. Or the, you know, the council wise, because it's still adopted by the private entity of the, you know, the new build.
And would it be the very old path that was
You
just,
know, you've got Newton Farm and you've got the new Persimmon Homes.
yeah,
Yeah, it's basically
The one in
that,
between.
up towards.
Bridle
the-
way, because
yeah.
it's a bridle way, and so it's not, it can't
Be a right
go
of way,
surely by Persimmon if it's a bridle way, Persimmon didn't.
Yeah,
buy-
as far as I'm aware, they adopted it to a part of the build.
Yeah.
Because they've done the joint path on from the housing estate to that.
Right,
gone across it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nothing we can get involved with until the NCC adopts the highways and byways.
yeah.
As for being a bridle path, it's pretty pointless bridle path because bridle paths is for horses on. The paths up there on Isabel or cycle paths, the part of the highway code also can't be on cycle paths, it's against the law.
But
So-
it was originally a bridle path for
Yeah, I know, but
150
that's fine, but
years,
they
and
can
then
basically
NCC
come to the end of that and that's it, they can't come any further
Mhm.
because it's literally their cycle paths. As for, you said that, you know, the resident, I'm not debating if the residents said that, you know, they were doing 60 mph. We can't determine, and, you know, residents can't determine the speed that they're going down. Because we haven't got the capability of doing that.
I think what they're talking about is obviously the noise disturbance on a night of motorbikes
Yeah.
going very fast down that cut. He did say 60 mph, but I think obviously we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's talking about this is 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
So it's very quiet, so it sounds very loud. It happens so fast, and like Caitlin said, you can't even get up and get a picture of it because it happens so fast. Like, even if I've got a ring doorbell and that on my front door, and we've got a bridle path that comes out into our estate, and we've got chicanes in that bridle path, but it doesn't stop them. They're still coming through that bridle path, but they're coming with the scarves wrapped around the head and what have you, and you can't catch them. Even my camera isn't fast enough to pick them up and catch them on camera.
I mean, they're covering the face because all the youngins are saying now, Chair, that, you know, no face, no case. That's what they're saying.
So it's-
We'll have a future,
And that's the unfortunate.
well, a future
fact of what, like,
meeting when the police come and we can discuss all that when the police come.
yeah.
Dan, you had your hand up?
Mr. Mayor, I was just curious, of all the objectives you listed at the start of the meeting, all very good, but I'm just curious, what would you say are your top 3 for the town?
Top 3 for the town?
Yeah.
Just basically listening to what the residents want. Getting out there and just looking around. If I get emails, I'm there to help people or direct them in the right direction. Basically, conduct meetings as well like this. And to hear everybody's views.
So communication.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Can I just raise one more thing on, on the e-scooters? I went onto the platform at Blythe railway station, and there's a big poster on the platform saying no e-scooters allowed on the platform. And I was talking with the county council at the time when I was there, and I said I'm not keen on that sign because e-scooters are illegal anyway, so why would you say they're allowed on the platform? That gives people the impression that, oh, well, they're allowed on the prom, or, oh, they're allowed out the street. But I don't think those signs should be there. So that was just one point. It gives a double message. If we're putting out messages, e-scooters are illegal, don't use them. And then you go on the train and on the platforms, no e-scooters on the platforms.
I agree with that.
Thank you. We also have a question on off-road bikes and things.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? You follow? No? Then I will close the meeting now. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
It's great, thanks. Thank you.
Wow.